Yo, let's talk real for a second because what's going on in hip-hop right now is wild, messy, and low-key embarrassing for one of the biggest names in the game. Drake is drowning, and not just in music industry drama. He's drowning in his own decisions. The irony is, after more than a decade of dominance, you'd think he would know how to navigate the politics, how to move like a boss, how to handle pressure without cracking. But nah. Instead of controlling the storm, Drake is fueling it, and every move he makes is backfiring. The same man who once looked untouchable is starting to look shaky, and that's something a lot of fans never thought they'd see. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. Let's start with the obvious. Drake is knee-deep in this lawsuit with Universal Music Group, trying to expose Kendrick Lamar's contract, trying to dig through paperwork to find leverage, like court battles are the new diss tracks. But then he goes and drags Jay-Z and Roc Nation into it. Like, really? How many battles does one man think he can fight at once? It's not power moves, it's not boss energy, it looks desperate. When you're beefing with Kendrick, still throwing darts at Pusha T, and now deciding to bark at Jay-Z too, that's not dominance. That's somebody lashing out, trying to stay relevant in every headline, even if it makes him look weak. Because let's keep it real, you don't just casually take aim at Jay-Z. This is HOV we're talking about. Jay-Z is more than a rapper. He's an institution. He's chess when everybody else is playing checkers. He's not just writing verses, he's writing the blueprint of the industry. And if you understand hip-hop culture, you know Jay-Z doesn't even have to respond for you to feel his presence. So when Drake starts dragging Roc Nation into his courtroom battles, it feels less like he's flexing and more like he's cracking under pressure. And you can trace where this all started. Remember the Super Bowl halftime show? That's where Kendrick Lamar had one of the most iconic performances of his career. That wasn't just a performance, it was a cultural event. Kendrick stood on one of the biggest stages in the world and reminded everybody why his voice, his artistry, and his movement mean more than just music. Behind that, Roc Nation, Jay-Z, that whole production was bigger than rap. It was legacy. Now Drake, instead of respecting that moment, let it eat him alive. Because deep down, he knew he wasn't part of it. He knew that stage wasn't his. And rather than focusing on his own legacy, his own bag, he got bitter. He turned his frustration into lawsuits and shade, dragging Jay-Z into a situation that doesn't even benefit him. That's why people are saying Drake is moving sloppy. Because it's not calculated. It's not planned. It's emotional. And that's dangerous for somebody who built his career on being cool, calm, and calculated. Drake's brand was always the smooth operator, the hitmaker who didn't need to get his hands dirty because the music spoke louder than the beefs. But now, the roles flipped. Kendrick speaks through his verses. Pusha speaks through his surgical disses. Jay-Z speaks through business moves. And Drake is speaking through lawsuits and subliminals. That's not the mark of a leader. That's the behavior of someone trying to hold on. And speaking of holding on, let's talk about this strange decision to revisit his beef with Pusha T. Everybody remembers the story of Audidon. That wasn't just a diss, that was a moment that shook the entire culture. Pusha pulled Drake's card in a way nobody had done before, exposing his hidden son and airing out his business in front of the world. That was one of those less you don't come back from in the same way. Drake survived it, sure, but he never reversed it. Pusha stamped that win. So why years later is Drake still trying to spin the block? It makes no sense. Every time he brings pushback up, it doesn't hit the way he thinks it will. Instead of looking like revenge, it looks like insecurity. Like he can't let go. Like he's still haunted by that one scar that won't fade. And that's the problem with Drake right now. He's fighting ghosts. He's fighting battles that already ended, and the more he swings, the more it looks like he lost. Now stack that on top of the Kendrick situation. Kendrick already demolished him in the diss exchange. From Euphoria to Not Like Us, Kendrick controlled the energy, the narrative, the streets, and even the clubs. Drake couldn't shake it, and he couldn't flip it. So when you combine that with old beefs with Push and unnecessary shots at HOV, what do you get? A man unraveling. And the streets see it clear as day. Because here's the truth. In hip-hop, when you keep fighting battles you can't win, it's not strength. It's ego. And Drake's ego is bleeding right now. That's why his moves look messy. That's why people are calling him desperate. Because he's not letting the work speak. He's forcing it. And the more you force it, the more it looks like you're slipping. Think of it this way. Picture Drake in the middle of the block. On his left, Kendrick, calm and calculated. On his right, Pusha, grinning because he already drew blood. At the corner, Jay-Z, standing silent, knowing he doesn't even need to swing. And there's Drake in the middle, throwing wild punches, missing more than he's landing, breathing heavy, getting frustrated. That's the picture right now. He's fighting everybody at once and losing control of the fight. And what makes it worse is how the fans are reacting. The same people who once said Drake was untouchable, the same people who saw him as the golden child of hip-hop, are now clowning him online. Memes, jokes, think pieces. The culture is laughing. Because nothing looks worse than somebody who can't accept the truth. And the truth is, Drake's grip on the crown is slipping. But let's be fair. Drake is not finished. He's too big, too smart, and too connected to fall completely. He still has hits, he still has one of the most loyal fan bases in music, and he still has influence. But power is not just about numbers. Power is about respect. And right now, Drake is losing respect every time he opens his mouth in court or in the booth to reheat old beef. And that's the tragic part. Because if Drake had just played this smarter, he wouldn't be in this position. He didn't need to respond to Pusha T years later. He didn't need to keep picking at Kendrick after the Super Bowl. And he definitely didn't need to drag Jay-Z and Roc Nation into his lawsuit drama. Those were emotional moves, not strategic ones. And emotional moves in this game, they will bury you. At the end of the day, this isn't about money, contracts, or even beef. This is about pride. Drake's pride is hurt. His pride won't let him sit back and watch Kendrick shine. His pride won't let him forget the scar Pusha gave him. His pride won't let him accept that Jay-Z can move the culture without him. Pride is what's making him swing at shadows, and pride is what's making him look weaker every day. So here we are. Drake, one of the biggest rappers of his generation, reduced to lawsuits, shade, and recycled beefs. The boy who once looked unstoppable now looks touchable, vulnerable, shaky in the light. And unless he finds a way to calm down, refocus, and let the music speak again, he's gonna keep spiraling. Because the streets don't respect lawsuits. The streets don't respect desperate moves. The streets respect dominance, clarity, and realness. Kendrick showed it. Pusha showed it. Jay-Z built an empire on it. And Drake is showing the opposite. He's showing cracks. And in this game, once people smell weakness, they don't let up. The fans don't let up. The media don't let up. The ops don't let up. Drake is learning that lesson right now in real time. He can either tighten up and get back to the music, or he can keep swinging until he's too tired to fight. And if he keeps moving the way he is now, the crown is gone. Not stolen. Not snatched. Just dropped. And the streets, they watching every second. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.